Good evening, and I welcome you, students, for a live webinar on natural resources. We have already discussed what are our natural resources: our atmosphere, air, soil, water, and the sun energy. All these are our natural resources. And we have also discussed the different type of cycles which are operating between abiotic and abiotic components to maintain certain constant compositions of nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, water cycle. Different cycles we have explained to you, and we have also explained students the rainfall patterns which take place in our country due to the uneven heating of the air. What happens? The winds blow, and also there are other geographical factors which are responsible for the rainfall patterns which we observe at different parts of our country. We also discuss the topsoil. What are the nutrients in the topsoil and how the soil erosion is taking place. You know already, if a lot of our soil will become erode, barren, the plantation will not be possible. A lot of land will become uncultivable and is lost. So how are we going to reduce all this? How we can reduce the soil erosions? And we discuss very important points in this student. The air pollution, which is causing the climate crisis, which we are experiencing all over the world, increase in temperature of the earth, which we call as a global warming. Then we also discussed how the ozone layer is protecting us from UV radiation, but how ozone is very toxic if it is present in our atmosphere, how deadly poison it is. And we have seen how water pollution is taking place from industrial waste and the chemical fertilizers and pesticides, the modern methods of farming which we are using, and how it is affecting the marine life, the aquatic life. Therefore, what is important, key takeaway from the natural resources, natural resources are very essential for the life to exist. But if we are exploiting them, if we are overusing them, then this will disturb the ecological balance, student. And therefore, it becomes necessary that we conserve our plants, forests, trees. Ecological balance should be conserved, natural resources should be conserved and be used judiciously, wisely, in a sustainable manner. We should not disturb the balance. Do we discussed all these things? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is a very, very important topic, and we have now a live webinar, students, where you will be participating and answering certain questions on the topic which we have discussed, and we are ready to begin. If you say yes, we will start, students.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ready. The first question is coming on the screen, student. What it says, question number 1. The atmosphere of Earth is heated by radiations. Is it true? The atmosphere of Earth is heated by the radiations, which are mainly radiated by the sun, re-radiated by the land, re-radiated by the water, re-radiated by land and water, students. What is the appropriate answer for this question?
Sir, option D.
Earth is heated by the radiations, radiated by the sun, re-radiated by the land, of course, land, re-radiated by the water. Water is not re-radiating, re-radiated by land and water, both. What is happening? You have seen how the re-radiation is taking place from land and as well as water. Is that the correct answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So students, we are locking this. Answer D is locked. The sun rays in the morning, what is happening? The rays of the sun are falling on the land as well as on the water bodies. And then what is happening? That after the sun sets, there is a re-radiation by the land and the water. What is the result of this? That earth is heat. The atmosphere of the earth, because what we are talking is the atmosphere of the earth is heated. This is the correct option from all these, and students are getting 1 full marks for that. Okay, you can see students' questions are very close to each other. Question number 2 is on the screen. If there were no atmosphere, try to read each and every question very carefully, students. Each and every word is important. By change of one word, the answer will change. If there were no atmosphere around the earth, the temperature of the earth will increase, go on increasing, increase during the day and decrease during the night, will be unaffected. What will happen, student? You know, we have a earth, and on the earth you have an atmosphere, student. You already know up to what is the range of the atmosphere, and you have what we call as air plus some other particles. There could be particles and other gases. Air is a mixture of gases, all that is there. So if there were no atmosphere, what will happen? There is already a sun rays. What is the correct answer, student?
Sir, C. Option C.
Okay, increase during the day and decrease during the night. There will be large variation in the temperature if the atmosphere is not there. So when in the day, what will happen? The sun will rise and the temperature will increase, and in the night the sun sets. What will happen? The temperature will decrease. So there will be increase during the day and decrease during the night. That is the correct option. This not. So then correct option is C. Answer is C. Students are getting 1 full marks for that. It's an important question. Another question is on the screen, students. What would happen if all oxygen present in the environment is converted to ozone? You are aware that what is the formula of the ozone? We told you, student, O3. Ozone. And what is the formula of the oxygen, student? You have been told O2. And O2 can combine with O2 to form O3. So if the environment converts oxygen into ozone, what will happen? Ozone is a allotrope of the oxygen. Choice A, we will be protected more. B, it will become poisonous and kill living form. Ozone is not stable, hence it will be toxic. It will help harmful sun radiation to reach earth and damage my life. What is the correct answer here, students?
Sir, option B.
We will be protected. Wrong. Ozone, you know, ozone is a deadly poison. If we will inhale it, it will cause serious problems. It will become poisonous and kill living form. That is the correct answer here. Ozone is not stable. That is, it will be toxic. No, it will be harmful. That is also wrong. So the correct choice is B, student. It will become poisonous. It will become poisonous and kill living forms. Answer is the correct. B is the correct answer given by the students, and students are getting 1 full marks for that. You see which layer the ozone is protecting us from UV radiations. Which layer is ozone present? Which we discussed with you, students. There are different layers of the atmosphere. What we discussed, stratosphere.
The stratosphere.
So that at that point, you see what was happening. It is absorbing the UV radiations. Question number 4 is on the screen, students. One of the following factor does not lead to soil formation. Now the question is based on does not lead to soil formation. Already you are aware, student, whenever a question is given, we already know how much knowledge we have, what we have learned from this. Soil formation, you know what are the factors which we discussed for soil formation, student? We discussed how the soil is formed. What factors are there for the formation of soils? You already know about it.
Yes, sir.
What factors were discussed?
Sun, water, wind,
Anything
and living
else?
organisms.
What other factors were there? How the soils were formed, you have seen. They are formed from the big rocks. You have seen how sun is heating them, uneven heating, then water is going through cracks and winds, all that things we discussed in detail. This is a very important question. The questions should be understood, and because they will be changed in the paper, students. So we have to have a knowledge of what we are doing. We must understand and then answer the question. Okay, here let us see the choices. One of the following factor does not, he says, does not. That is the point, student, not here. Sun, does the sun is a factor?
Yes, sir.
Sun is a factor which lead to soil formation, we know. Water leads to, wind leads to, polythene bags does not lead. Then what is the correct answer given?
Option D.
Option D is the correct. Polythene bags are what they are. Polythene bags are non-biodegradable, are already causing a lot of problems. You know, they will live for many years, and they are not going to do anything with the formation of the soil. The answer is D. That is polythene bags. Okay? Does not lead to soil formation. That is the correct answer given by the students, are getting 1 full mark for that. Another question is on the screen, students. The 2 forms of oxygen found in the atmosphere are 2 forms of oxygen, students. Which are the 2 forms of oxygen? You are aware of it. Before I see the answer, am I aware which 2 forms are existing in the atmosphere?
Yes, sir.
Which are the 2 forms?
O2 and O3.
O2 and O3. So they are the 2 allotropes of the oxygen. So what is the answer here, students?
Sir, option C. Ozone and oxygen.
Oxygen and oxygen, water and ozone. No. Water, what is water? Is a compound. Water and oxygen. Again, water is a compound of oxygen. Water and carbon dioxide, they are compounds. And the 2 forms, these are the 2 forms of oxygen. Therefore, The answer which you are giving, students, C is the correct answer. Ozone and oxygen, and students get 1 full mark for that. Another question is coming on the screen, student. Question number 6. The process of nitrogen fixation by bacteria. First, you already know what is a nitrogen fixation, students. What is nitrogen fixation?
Sir, nitrogen fixing bacteria fixes atmospheric nitrogen.
What is the process which is happening?
Sir, they convert it into nitrates and nitrites.
Nitrates and nitrites are there in the soil. We see that. So nitrogen cycle we have discussed. You can watch that YouTube video on the nitrogen cycle to get complete information. What is the answer here? Molecular form of hydrogen, elemental form of oxygen, water, elemental form of nitrogen. What is the correct answer? Time is running out, students.
Sir, option B.
Does not, because the question is, it does not take place in the presence of option B.
Yes, sir.
You see that if oxygen is present, what will happen? The nitrogen fixing bacteria dies in the presence of oxygen. It's very, this is something unexpected, which we are not familiar with that. Oxygen, we believe, gives life to the organism. But air is a bacteria, which is a nitrogen fixing bacteria that does not need oxygen and will die if oxygen is present. So that is the elemental form of oxygen. That is the correct answer. This is a very important question because here something different you are experiencing. The answer is B, student. Elemental form of oxygen, that O2 is there, and that bacteria does not survive. So this fixation that will not take place if a lot of oxygen is present. This will take place in the absence of the oxygen. In the absence of the oxygen. That is the correct answer, students. Next questions are coming, student. The rainfall pattern depend on underground water table, number of water bodies in an area, density of the pattern of human population, prevailing season in an area. What do you think is the appropriate correct answer for this question, students?
Sir, option B.
Rainfall pattern depend on underground water table. No. Number of water bodies, you are saying. Density of the prevailing season, but yes, the number of water bodies in the area is very important, because what is the process by which rain occurs, students? How the rain occurs? We have discussed the water cycle.
Yes, sir.
Water cycle we have discussed. Number of water bodies in the area. If there are more water bodies, what will happen? What is the result of that, students?
More rain will occur.
So evaporation, what are the three processes which we discussed for the rainfall? When the rainfall, how the rainfall takes place, student? What are the processes involved in rainfall? Understand?
Evaporation, precipitation, and condensation.
First, you said evaporation. Second, you are saying condensation.
Yes, sir.
And then precipitation. You can't say first evaporation, precipitation. You see, that is the three stages and how the rain falls. And you have the reasons also for why this happens, how it happens, Student, all this have been discussed in our video lectures in YouTube. They are very informative. I believe that parents should also listen to them because it provides you very, very valuable information, which should be known to all. Next question is coming on the screen, student. Among the given option, which one is not correct? Which one is not correct, student? For use of large amounts of fertilizers and pesticides, are we using fertilizers
Yes, sir.
and pesticides? Why they are used, students?
Fertilizers are used to increase fertility of soil, and pesticides are used in order to prevent pests on the crops.
These are the modern farming techniques which are utilizing this.
Yes.
Among the, which one is not correct? Not correct. What is the? They are eco-friendly. They turn field barren after some time. They adversely affect the useful component from the soil. They destroy the soil fertility. What is the correct answer?
Option A.
Because the question was not correct. Sometimes students, we have to be careful if they say which one is correct and which one is not correct here. So they are eco-friendly, that is wrong. Okay? This is not correct. This is not correct. And they turn field into barren. This is correct. This is also correct. You are saying, and they destroy. This is also correct. So the answer for the given question is, student, choice A. What is not correct?
That they are eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly. What do you mean by eco-friendly, students?
They are useful for environment.
They will maintain the environmental balance which is required. Another question is coming on the screen, student. The nitrogen molecules present in air can be converted into nitrates and nitrites. Okay? A biological process of nitrogen fixing bacteria present in the soil. A biological process of carbon fixing factor in the soil. Any of the industries manufacturing nitrogenous compound, the plants used as cereal crops in the field. What do you think is the right answer?
Sir, option A.
Option
A.
A. The nitrogen present in air. This is the nitrogen gas that is present in air. What happens? There is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. Which bacteria? You have any idea? Did we tell you in the lectures the name of the bacteria also? There is a biological process. Biological process we have given you in our lectures, which are uploaded in YouTube. What is the name of the bacteria, students? You have any idea? This is present in the soil. It will convert it into nitrates and nitrites. Because the plants cannot take nitrogen gas as such. N2 gas, this is inert. Nitrogen gas is inert, student. That answer is correct. And students are getting one full mark for that. We need to study and learn more and more. That is our objective for any quiz. Doesn't mean to answer the right answer, student. The main purpose of all the quiz which we are giving is to learn more and more and study more and more. What we are talking to you, learn more, students. We are saying study more and seek more knowledge, student. So this is all about, science is all about learning. We try to learn as much as possible, understand, learn, think. We have to think and apply. The knowledge without application will be waste, student. You have to apply the knowledge and apply it for our everyday uses. That's what we are trying. One of the following processes is not a step involved in water cycle operating in nature. Now the question is being asked on water cycle. So let us see. Before we answer the question, what are the steps in the water cycle which we discussed, student?
Evaporation,
Water, you said evaporation took place. Then
condensation,
condensation. Then
precipitation.
precipitation. How the water evaporation takes place from where? Water bodies. Mainly,
Yes,
what are the largest sources of water bodies?
oceans, lakes,
Oceans, lakes, rivers. Then what else is happening? Anything else? Water coming from any other sources? Beautiful pictures have been given for water cycle to you in our video lecture, students. What is that? Have you seen anything more than that? What is the correct answer for this question?
sir, option D.
Option D.
Yes,
You have one more thing you have studied, student, transpiration. What is transpiration?
sir, when water gets uh,
What is transpiration? What is the transpiration, students? Tell me, you now getting some idea what we are talking. What are these plants doing? They lose water. So plants also give water. What is that called? Transpiration. This is one of the present, not in word, not a step. This is a step. This is a step in water cycle. This is a step in water cycle. What is the photosynthesis? Tell me what happens during photosynthesis.
Sir, when plant makes food,
How they make it? What do the plants do?
sir, they use chlorophyll and sunlight to
What is
make.
the reaction? Photosynthetic reaction. What is that? What they use? Carbon dioxide gas, water. This is used by the plants. Chlorophyll. What is the result? What do they get? What is that?
Glucose,
And
oxygen.
so they are using water in this process. Therefore, the answer is D, student. That is the correct answer given by the students. They are getting. The purpose is try to learn as much as possible. Whenever a question is given, we already know and understand what is a water cycle. So this gives us a good revision of the water cycle also, because questions are asked on water cycle. Next question is coming on the screen. The term water pollution can be defined in several ways. Which of the following statement does not give the correct definition? Water pollution, students. So let me focus. What is water pollution? What is water pollution? What do you know about water pollution, students?
Sir, when water gets it gets polluted.
And what we have discussed in the lectures which we have given, water pollution is, what are the factors which lead to water pollution? What do we mean by water pollution? How the water pollution takes place, student? How the water pollution takes place? When water pollution means what to a student?
Sir, it takes place when fertilizers or pesticides gets dissolved in the water.
You are saying only fertilizer? And it's going to be, you are saying you studied fertilizers and pesticides. What do we say, that they are undesirable substances?
Yes.
Okay, what else happens?
When sir industrial waste gets
Okay,
is
what
thrown in the
else
water.
will mean by water pollution? This is we already know about this. That nothing. We all know that all those things we are disposing of and going to the water bodies. There is something beyond that which is important. Point. Beyond that, there is something more important which we were not knowing, students. There is a marine life, there is an aquatic life, student, and they live where these marine life or aquatic fish and all that, where they are getting their food from. There are organisms which are living in the water. How they survive in the water. How they survive? There are nutrients in the water, student. Okay? If I remove them, what will happen? If these nutrients are removed, there is a aquatic life also in the sea. You know that? In the water bodies. You have water plants. So if they also need nutrients, and if I remove them, what will happen? What will happen? Will that lead to water pollution or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What else is there? Try to understand what else is there when we talk of water pollution, students. The marine aquatic living organisms in the water, if the temperature change is very high, what will happen? They survive, organisms survive at it under definite conditions of temperature, students. You know about it. So if there will be very large change in temperature, what will happen? If change in temperature takes place, what will happen, student? Will they survive or die?
They will die.
Then will this be called a water pollution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then what answer we are giving? Let us read the correct options now. Addition of undesirable. Okay. So this is a definition of, this is a water pollution.
Yes.
Okay. Removal also water pollution. Change in pressure of the water bodies. What will
No,
happen?
sir.
This is does not give the correct definition. Question was does not give correct definition, student. And this water pollution, this change in this will also cause water pollution. So in this case, what answer you are giving, students? What is your answer?
Option C.
Option C is the correct answer. Student get one full mark. See how much we have learned all these things, how much revision takes place by following webinars and quizzes. It's not simply answering the question. Answering question takes very less time, but understanding, having more knowledge is very important. Okay, students. Which of the following is not a greenhouse effect? Now, this is a very important point, greenhouse gas. What do you mean by a greenhouse gas, student? First question. What is a greenhouse gas? What it does? What are greenhouses gases? First question to you before we answer this question. What do they do? Greenhouse. We want to have a greenhouse. What it means? What is the answer?
The greenhouse is generally used for keeping various types of plants.
That is not our question here. What is what the greenhouse gas does? It is a greenhouse gas. What they do?
Sir, it would um, cause more heat to be retained.
They trap the heat radiations, and therefore what happens? The result is they maintain a temperature higher than the temperature outside by trapping the heats. But if too much heat will be trapped, then the temperature will rise too much, you know. So what are the greenhouse gases which we discussed? Important question. Which is the most important greenhouse gas?
Carbon dioxide.
Then what we discussed?
Methane.
Gas, then carbon monoxide gas. What do they do? they will trap the heat radiations and does not allow to go out of the atmosphere. Then which one is not a greenhouse gas here?
Ammonia.
Ammonia. This is a greenhouse gas. This is also a greenhouse gas. This question helps us a lot because there will be some question on that greenhouse gas. They have asked many times to student, name the greenhouse gas. Then this is not a greenhouse gas. Answer is ammonia. Answer is D. That is ammonia. It is not absorbing or trapping the sun or heat radiations. So students are given 1 full marks for that. Next question is coming on the screen. Which step is not involved in carbon cycle? Carbon cycle. We have discussed, student, carbon cycle. What are the important steps or stages in carbon cycle? Students, try to revise. What are the steps which we discussed in the carbon cycle? How the carbon cycle takes place? How the carbon amount is fixed?
The processes are respiration, decomposition.
What decomposition? We have given you the diagrams also for the carbon cycle, and you have seen how the CO2 in the atmosphere, where it is used up mainly.
Respiration.
Respiration, I'm saying where it is used up, consumed. Which process uses CO2?
Photosynthesis.
All these primary producers, what we call as plants. Then what happens? And where it is coming? Who is producing it? Are you releasing CO2?
Yes, sir.
What is the name of the process?
Respiration.
Respiration. You are releasing. What else we are doing which releases CO2?
Burning of fossil fuels.
Burning of fossil fuels. They are removing it. Then what happens to these students, plants, when they decay or die? What is the result of that? You already know what is these organic. They are producing what you have seen, organic compounds, petroleum or coal, everything, all that deposits which are there. So many things we discussed about that in carbonates, water. And what happens to these organic compounds? Again, they release CO2. So a carbon cycle is now visible to you. All this we want to revise, student, because it helps you. So what answer we are giving? Which step is not involved? Is saying. Is photosynthesis involved in carbon cycle?
Yes, sir.
Involved. Okay. Transpiration involved?
No, sir.
No. What is transpiration?
The process
What?
in which, sir, the water from the plants,
There,
plants uses water.
that is the water coming out of the plants. You know, in the morning you will see grass is wet in the parks, and you will see some moisture on the leaves of the plants. And this is involved. Respiration is involved. Burning possibility is involved in carbon cycle. So answer, you are giving, what answer have you given, student, for this question?
Option B.
Option B is the correct answer. And students get 1 full marks. Transpiration not involved in carbon cycle. Carbon cycle. Another question is on the screen, student. Ozone hole. There are two things. One is ozone layer. You are aware. What is the ozone layer, students?
Sir, it protects us from harmful ultraviolet radiation.
Where it is present?
In stratosphere.
It protects from harmful UV radiations from the sun. We have a knowledge of that. Now, what is a ozone hole? What is ozone hole, students?
Sir, option B.
Option B. Okay. What is happening? There is a depletion of the ozone layer. That means there is a thinning of ozone layer. Large size hole in the ozone layer, thinning of the ozone layer, small holes scattered in ozone layer, thickening of the, that's also wrong. The correct answer is B, and students get 1 full mark. Now, what is the reason for this? Why it is happening? Very important questions are coming on these students also. What emissions are taking place? Emissions from the jet, ACs, refrigerants, what are the chemicals, compounds, which we discussed in our lecture, students, which are destroying the ozone in the stratosphere layer, and is a serious cause of the concern. Okay, you already have those videos with you. You can observe them and see the previous videos. Again, another question is coming. Ozone layer is getting depleted. Ozone layer is very important, and a lot of questions are asked to students on ozone again and again. Ozone layer depletion. See how the nature works, this ozone. It is absorbing the UV radiations from the sun. And then it dissociates by the UV radiation in the stratosphere. Stratosphere. So all this we are learning. It is depleted because of what answers we are giving.
Sir, option C.
Excessive use of automobiles, is that the cause of the ozone depletion?
No, sir.
No. Excessive formation of industrial? No. Excessive use of man-made compounds containing both fluorine and chlorine. Hydrocarbons were discussed. They were the main cause of that. So that is the correct answer. Excessive deforestation? No. Therefore, the correct answer which we are giving student is what?
Option C.
Option C. Where I have already uploaded the video on that. A complete lecture has been given on ozone and is a very expected question in every exam. In 9th as well as in 10th class also, we are teaching that. In the Cbse sample paper, the question has been given to the Cbse 10th class also. So we believe it's important point. Depletion of ozone, ozone hole, how ozone is formed, which part of the atmosphere ozone is important, and which part it is highly toxic substance. Highly toxic substance. Where are these compounds coming from? Excessive man-made compounds. Where? Mainly, where where the sources of these? Fluorine, chlorine, chlorofluor. What are those? You have any idea what products you are using?
CFC.
Where, which devices which you are using, they are emitting those CFCs? Refrigerants, AC should be serviced. We have discussed that. Otherwise, there are aerosols or sprays which we are doing, students, and those jet flying emissions, all these. More synthetic things which we use, student, they are going to cause more trouble for us. So try to apply and use natural products. Natural products even for cleaning purposes. These aerosol sprays, perfumes, they will release certain chemicals which are having chlorine, bromine, fluorine atoms, and they can destroy the ozone and attack the ozone. All right, we end up the quiz here, and the students have been able to answer all the questions correctly, and the score is 15 out of 15. Students get 100% marks, and we are saying well done, and that shows that you have learned the lecture and learned the lesson of natural resources and understood the basic concepts which were discussed in this. And all these questions are extremely important. And then we meet you next time. Our best wishes to all of you, and continue your great performances. And we say focus, concentrate, and be 100% in your work. Okay. Congratulations and bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you, sir.